We have always been used to hearing people talking about labels and calling each other names, but actually, I believe we should only focus on ideas. Guys, today I want to talk about this because it's a very interesting and important and pertinent topic. Because I see many interviews nowadays and I see people calling each other names. And I hate this so much. For example, you're a racist, you're anti Semitic, you're a Nazi, you're a white supremacist, you're a far right extremist. But I think if we want to be professional and if we want to try to get as much as possible out of a conversation, we ought to ask ourselves another question, which is this right or is this wrong? Do I believe in this or do I not believe in this? Because people focus very much on labels and label themselves as X, Y, and Z. And it's very interesting and crazy to see this unfold. I see this every single day, by the way. I see people calling themselves, anti-Semitic. And the problem with those labels is that this is totally subjective. Because someone's anti-Semitism is someone else's nationalism. This is just an example I'm making. A behavior that a Jew deems to be anti-Semitic is maybe a behavior that a Palestinian deems to be vital for its existence. I can make an example here. With the Israel-Palestine conflict, Jews will say that maybe some Jews, not all of them, will say that maybe supporting Palestine is anti-Semitic and being critical of Israel is anti-Semitic. But some people will just say it's pointing out a pattern because they say it in a different way. So this is a subjective thing. This is subjective. This is about subjectiveness. On the other hand, I think we should ask ourselves whether something is right or wrong, whether we believe in that. That's why I have very famously said stuff like, I am a white supremacist, now what? I am a racist, now what? And I said that, and what I meant by that was just, let's for the sake of the argument assume that I am all of those things. Well, what does this change? Does the fact you think I'm anti-Semitic change anything? It doesn't. Because what matters is whether we agree or disagree, and whether you like my ideas or don't like my ideas. I really like Piers Morgan. I'll make an example here. I think he's great. I think his show is very great, and I like him. Frankly, I do like him. Even though I understand he hosts those debates for views, I understand he does that. It's clear. I'm not blaming him for that, because that's what everyone does. That's what I also do. It's clear. I also do this. I'm guilty of this. I say things in an exaggerated manner, and I made views because of this also. I've said things. And it's normal. But he focuses so much on labels. Are you anti-Semitic? Are you a racist? Are you X? Are you Y? Are you Z? Who the fuck cares? Nobody cares. Like, we should care about whether that's right or wrong. I'll say something now extreme. This is really extreme. Now I'm really going crazy. This is an opinion I have. No. Let's just do this. Let's just do an experiment here. You can state an opinion in two completely different ways. And in spite of it being the same opinion, and in spite of it expressing the same thing, it is gonna have a completely different effect. I can say Jews are like women. They create the problems themselves and then blame others. Absolutely, naturally, zero self-accountability. So that's the first way of saying it. Or I can say that Jews and women happen to blame others for the problems they themselves create more often than other people do. And it is a strange pattern which needs to be highlighted. Look, no one's going to say the second one is anti-Semitic. But everyone would say the first one is anti-Semitic. But they're both true, I believe, for example. This is my opinion. Because I don't want to speak on behalf of all the Jews and all the women, but I see on the internet, especially women and Jews complaining all the time. Most of them. And it is very clear for me to see. I believe, frankly, people complain about their issues which they cause way too much, but especially women and Jews. Now you can convey this message in the first way I did, which was very abrasive and direct, or you can be a little bit less abrasive and direct, but it's still the same thing and I still believe it. Doesn't change. Another thing which I can say that is very interesting. I can state, and both of them are true because they're the same thing, I don't feel safe around blacks. I understand, this could be racist. Maybe it is. Let's say this. Or I can say that being around blacks is a bigger danger than being around whites, Asians, Jews, etc., etc., etc. Both of them are true, but one is very abrasive. And people who will say, it doesn't depend on the person, it doesn't depend on the race. It's not about race. Well, we talked about this, and it is about race, okay? And also, I asked this question, and people refuse to answer because they're afraid. But I'm gonna ask you this question. Would you rather be around 50 blacks in a subway or 50 whites in a subway? And what most people would say is, I'd rather be, it doesn't matter, I don't care, it doesn't change anything, because you could find white criminals, so you could find black criminals. Okay, but reason, use your mind, use your intelligence, and think about this. Black men commit crimes at a higher rate than white men. So it is more probable that a black will carry a knife and could stab you. So you, in my opinion, ought to choose white if you want to be safer. And I understand this is racist, maybe. But I don't even care about whether it is racist or not. Because I don't even think it's important. Another point I'd like to make with this video, because we have made the first point. You can convey a message in completely different ways, and it has a completely different effect. And we have also said that we should talk about whether something is right or wrong instead of whether something is anti-Semitic or anti-racist or X, Y, or Z. So we have made that point. Another thing which I'd like to point out is the fact that people are so obsessed with what people say, and people are so obsessed with words and not actions. That people are genuinely obsessed with this. They're like, oh, but this person said this. Kanye West said he's a Nazi. Kanye West said that. I don't know. Donald Trump said this. Elon Musk said this. Well, why do people give so much importance to words, especially? I think this is a problem. I think the word has become too soft. I'll say this very sincerely. The word has become way too soft. It's not even debatable. And to the extent which making jokes with your friends is now seen as a problem. Have you seen what the UK did? They released a documentary called Adolescence, in which, by the way, they inverted the race of the criminal. Basically, the young teenager was white rather than black. Because this documentary was made because in July in Southport, there was a stabbing that I think got 3 little girls killed by a black dude, who I don't remember whether it was an immigrant or isn't, but that doesn't change the fact he was black. And I think it has some importance to some extent. And they basically switched the protagonist of that film to a white person, which is very interesting because then when you make movies like Snow White and make them shit, because you make the Snow White black or brownish rather than white, it's called Snow White for a reason. It's called Snow White because she's supposed to be as white as snow, and you make her brownish. And no wonder it is the worst film in history, and I'm so happy. So woke can get fucked, because that's what it deserves. Everything woke turns to shit. Alright? We learned this, but now it's not based anymore to say this stuff. Now what has become based is more hardcore truths. This was just a basic one. We were just losing common sense because people were pushing, there are actually 27 genders and you can identify as a three-spirit penguin. I'm like, you're just mentally ill. I'm sorry. That's the way it works. I'm sorry if I'm the first one who told you, I'm sorry, because you didn't live around people who cared about you. Because if you had lived around people who cared about you, you wouldn't have, I wouldn't have been the first person to tell you this very simple truth, but you had to hear it. This is the way it works. But coming back now to softness and people being soft. For example, in this movie Adolescence, they inverted the role. And they're like, boys are so rude and they're not sensible anymore. We should really teach them to be pussies. That's their message. That's their message. They're trying to demonize men. Not men. I'll rephrase this one. They're trying to demonize anything remotely masculine. I don't think I'm particularly masculine. I'll be completely honest. I'm not. Don't take me as an example of masculinity. I'm not telling you who you should take as an example of masculinity, but I'm not one of them. Okay? I just have to know this. First of all, I'm extremely young, way too young. But I'm just saying. But they did this thing, and basically anything masculine is considered a problem. Now, I'll make an example. I make all types of jokes with my friends, and I love them. I love making racist jokes. I make racist, anti-Semitic jokes. I make misogynistic jokes. I make all types of jokes. Like, me and my friends insult everyone. Women, Jews, blacks, whites, men, everyone you can think of. And that's freaking funny. It's very fun. It's very entertaining. I'll be honest. And this behavior is now seen by the UK government as misogynistic, and this is a problem. They basically want to pussify men. And this is also the reason why the white race is dying, and it is going to go extinct. And as a white person myself, it saddens me to say this, but it's just true. I'll tell you why, in my opinion, the white people are lost. The reason why the white race is going extinct is because whites are cowards. It's because we are cowards. We are pussies. That's the very simple reason. And we are cacked by the Holocaust 85 years after the Holocaust happened. 80 years after the Holocaust happened. We're still cacked by the Holocaust. They say, well, we can't be patriotic because it's going to be another Holocaust. I'm not going to kill Jews. I'm not going to kill no one. I just want my countries to stay my countries. It's very simple, you know. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult of a concept. But the problem is that most white men are too cocked. And I'm a kid. And I am less cocked than not most, but a big part of white men. I have seen today on X a video of white men, adults, 50, 60, full-grown men, full-grown white men, taking a kneel for white guilt. And this is inexcusable. You're a full-grown man, and you're really doing that shit? Like, really? I am flabbergasted when I see those things. Blacks were enslaved in Africa 7 centuries ago. You're 54 years old, sir. You have got nothing to do with it. Okay? Don't take a kneel and don't do this pussy-like garbage that you did during BLM. Because I saw clips and that was really disgusting. It really pissed me off. Especially because I see full-grown men who are supposed to be the brave ones being cocks. And this is truly crazy. How do I finish this video? Because I've spoken about many issues. I've said many things. Like, I think I am underestimating the degree of controversy this video has got in it. What did they say which is so... Let's do a recap. I might upload this video. I might upload a shorter version of this video. What did I say which was so crazy? Let me think about this for a second. Okay, so let's do a recap. Jews are like women. They create problems themselves and then blame others. Absolutely and utterly zero self-accountability. This is a pattern that I have recognized when I see Jews crying all over, not all of them, but some of them, crying all over the place because they've been kicked out of 109 countries. Well, let me tell you something. Imagine being kicked out of the class 109 times and not being your fault even once. I mean, how is that possible? Let's think about this. I am in high school and I've been kicked out of my class 109 times. First of all, I've been kicked out of 109 classes 1,034 times, around that. So it's even more than that. But let's just say 109 times. Even that is an extraordinary amount of times. Maybe 2 times it wasn't my fault, because maybe I was just arguing with a friend of mine and he was the one who started it, but the teacher just saw me, who in that case I did very, very less than the other guy did, and therefore I shouldn't have been kicked out and he should have been kicked out. Okay, 2 times it wasn't my fault, but the other 107 it was my fault. But they always happen to say it's because of anti-Semitism, it's because of hatred for Jews. Could it also have been because it was your fault sometimes? I'm just saying. I don't hate you, but I'm like, it's so annoying. Because I think we should take responsibility for our own actions. But some of those guys don't seem to get it. And the same thing with women, I say it all the time. I crashed my car. It was because of the tree. Well, the tree was there for 50 years. So maybe it was your fault. Thousands of times cars passed by that tree and never did any of those cars crash into the tree. So maybe it was your fault. So this is the first thing I said, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. Now, I understand it's very controversial, and I understand the way I phrased it is anti-Semitic and misogynistic, but is that freaking thing wrong? I don't think it is. And I think about it, I don't think it is. Tell me your opinion, because I'm curious. Next truth bomb I dropped. I said living around blacks is dangerous. Well, this is very true. I don't hate blacks. I have black friends myself and I like them. They're very funny, way funnier than I am. Way more entertaining than I am. They dance better. They have a greater sense of humor. They understand many things better than I do. But, guys, this is statistics. They commit crimes at rates 20 times higher than whites and Asians and Jews. So I am highlighting a thing. There is an issue there. And if I were to choose between being around 50 white men or black men, I choose 50 white men. Because the chances of a white man carrying a knife are way lower than the chances of a black man carrying a knife. And now what people would say, well, but it's random, so it doesn't matter if you're black or white, the chances are the same. Well, you don't know statistics, do you? So let's just say, for the sake of the argument, let's just say there are 1 billion white men in the world. It's actually way less than that, I think. And there are 2.5 billion black men. 3 billion, to make it easier. If blacks commit crimes at rates 20 times higher than whites, and 50 out of those 3 billion or 1 billion men of said race will be picked, who do you think has lower chances of committing crimes? The whites. Crime rate. Sorry. Very simple. So this idea that in that case statistics don't matter is wrong. So even here, although this is very controversial and racist, this is also true. Another very controversial thing I've said is that whites are corrupt. And being sorry for the Holocaust and feeling guilty for the Holocaust 80 years after is a little bit ridiculous. When I see full-grown white men taking a kneel for Black Lives Matter or any of that stuff, I am embarrassed. Because I don't consider myself brave. I don't consider myself remotely brave. I think I'm even a coward to some extent. I think I am. But dude, those are full-grown men and they are way bigger cocks than me, not even close. And this is the problem with whites. You see, it is that I've insulted Jews, women. I'm also insulting whites, guys. I love them. My people, I love them. I'm white myself. But we are way too cocked. We are even afraid of being remotely patriotic. We are afraid of saying, I don't want any more immigrants. Because I just want to live around a country which is only white. which is an opinion which is fine. It's fine to have this kind of opinion. Some people believe in that, some people don't believe in that. Some people want to live around only whites, some people want to live around a multicultural society. It's your choice. But being afraid of saying your own opinion as a full-grown man, I don't like it. It's something which I truly think is problematic. So I insulted everyone. And we don't have children anymore, and that's the reason why we're dying also. As much as this is extremely misogynistic and patriarchal, if that's even the adjective, when it comes to birth rates, I will finish this video with a bomb. I will drop a bomb, guys. I am tearing because I'm genuinely excited by how much controversy this sentence will cause. Hold on. This is a big one. Hold on a second. The very simple truth about Western society is the following. If women stayed at home and raised kids, and men worked in order to provide for their families, the West would have a birth rate 10 times higher than now. And we would average 5 or 6 kids per family. And we would save Western civilization for its inevitable decay. I hope you enjoyed this video. I didn't say anything crazy. It was a very chill video. No controversy. I hope you enjoyed it. We went really nuts with this one. Really. I think we have exceeded. I think we have crossed some boundaries which we hadn't even gotten close to. Thank you very much if you enjoyed this. To all my Jewish friends, to all my women, to all my female friends. I don't own any woman. I don't have any girlfriend. So I just want to avoid being accused of owning a woman, because that's not true. But to all my female friends, to all my male friends, to all my white friends, black, I love you all, guys. Okay? Understand. Make jokes in the comments. I don't say. Say I'm crazy, say I'm stupid. It's funny. Don't worry, guys. I love you all. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. See you very soon. I love you.